Folks, welcome back. I'm sure you enjoyed that first little bit over an hour information. I mean, that was powerful. Phil Hudock did a great job on that. And he had no idea, no way of knowing that I was going to bring over a pack of information with me today on Freemasonry and how it's influenced this country and about the whole world, literally. He had no way of knowing that. I didn't know he was going to teach on that either. So this is something you might want to call coincidence. I call it ordained by God to be done this way. And I want to share a couple of thoughts right out this first paragraph right in this article as I brought over. And by the way, this is available to you. If you want to copy this, since a few bucks pay postage and printing, we'll send copy of this because this is about, I think, 30-some pages long of article on Freemasons. But I want to share with you, if I could, a couple scriptures. Then I'm going to get into the current events today. And keep in mind what we're saying is proving what he just showed you on video. So many things he said just to open up more and more understanding of where we are and what's going on. One of the things he said, I hear Christian people talk about man's divinity. Man has no divinity without Christ. The only thing divine in man is the Holy Spirit if he's born again. Man's flesh has no divinity. His carnal mind has no divinity. And I hear people say that all the time, well, man has got divinity. No. That's like the Mason was saying that it's all one universal God, and it's all one mass mind, and that's the real God. So if that were true, we'd all have divinity, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
There is some church division out there that teaches that man can become a god.
Oh yeah, that's Mormons teach that.
Well, the
Judaism teaches that too.
Pentecost teaches too.
Well, anyway, as we get into current events, I want you to keep in mind Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 18. I want to read it to you. Now keep this in mind because it's obviously true. It's in the scriptures. For in much wisdom is much grief, and he that increaseth knowledge increaseth sorrow. The more you understand the world, the more it breaks your heart. You comprehend what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. The more it breaks your heart for your family, your friends, because you understand the wickedness around you. It opens your eyes to see that we're not living in a paradise that we think we are, and the church wants to live in a bubble, waiting for the rapture. That is not what the church is here for. I'd like to read to you a couple, one paragraph out of this right here I'm offering again if you want it. Listen to the scripture. You blind guide, you strain a gnat but swallow a camel. The church today fights over a piece of bacon and goes to hell because it believes in homosexuality. Think about that. And this is what the Protocols of Zion say. The people of the world and even the governments will be as children under age. In other words, they'll be too naive to comprehend what's happening. Is that true?
Yeah.
Democracy and freedom are illusions gradually dispersing like morning mist. Our governments ask capitalist Masonic bankers for credit like children asking for their allowance. Governments are just a veil for these bankers. Successful people are their agents. Freemasons control every important social institution, government, media, corporation, military, justice, education, and the church. They are the deep state. Humanity is being re-engineered to serve the capitalist bankers and their god Lucifer in the world plantation. A historian, Bernard Fay, explains below, the United States was established to implement this global agenda, which explains U.S. foreign policy. Now, this was said by General Charles Cornwallis in 1781. Your churches will be used to teach the Jews' religion, and in less than 200 years, the whole nation will be working for divine world government. Right. That government that they believe to be divine will be the British Empire. Our religions will be permeated with Judaism without even being noticed by the masses, and they will all be under the invisible, all-seeing eye of the grand architect of Freemasonry.
Christian Zionism?
General Charles Cornwallis, 1781. Have they been effective?
300 is 1981.
Yeah, there you go. Good point. And I'll knock that off. I'm sorry. But what you're going to see today are the results of this. What's happening? It's the fruit, if you will, the design plan of Satan since the beginning. Since the beginning, when he went into the garden and deceived man. That was his whole plan from that time on to become the architect, Lucifer, the light bearer for the whole world. Is that not true? Mm-hmm. Now, Joe, would you go to Genesis chapter 6? And I want to make sure I got the right verse on that.
Where is it going?
Genesis 6.
Genesis 6, if you would, Joe, verse 5. And Lee, would you go to Matthew 24? When I find the right verse that.
I'm there.
Okay, hang on a second. Where is it? Anyway, the verse 24. And by the way, you'll refer back for this a lot during the this current events day. I'm looking for, and I've read it, and I read it, and I can't find it. For it was in days of Noah, Genesis 24.
It's Matthew 24.
I'm sorry, Matthew 24. I'm trying to find it. But anyway, would you read Genesis chapter 6, verse 5, please?
And God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually.
Now, Phil, I know you understand what that said. Would you mind repeating that a little bit and explain what it's telling us there?
Well, he had created the earth, but unfortunately, man had free will, and he chose earthly, fleshly things, and became evil, being a god in his own eyes, deciding what was right and wrong, regardless of what God said.
Amen. And that means that we mind the things of the flesh, doesn't it? And Matthew 24, verse 37 says what?
But as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be.
Are we seeing that happening? Do you not believe that there are divine entities, if you want to call them that, devils, if you will, that are influencing man's thought processes?
Have to be.
Oh, absolutely.
Has to be.
Absolutely. And you all know, you all remember the Nephilim?
Yes.
Do you think in the last days it's going to happen again? You may not see 10-foot giants, although that's possible, but you're going to see men who are of intellect that are so much above normal that are influenced by satanic powers with that intellect.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'll read to you here, Mel Stamper, a Juris Doctor and author of Fruit from Poisonous Trees, said this: at the founding of this republic, there were only 4 federal crimes: treason, counterfeiting, piracy, and crimes against the law of nations. Now there are 3,000 federal crimes, 300,000 federal administrative regulations, many of which are punishable as crimes, and about 85,000 local governments with 513,000 elected officials, or in one every 500 people. We have an estimated 45 million laws, state, federal, and local. God, the creator of the universe, gave us only 10 laws with which to live our lives, and although I fail often, I try to conduct my life by those 10 commandments. It will be impossible, however, to obey 45 million laws. These millions of laws and the government enforcers are destroying our republic, and they already have. That makes sense to you?
Yeah, he's a great author.
Yes, he was. Now, I'm going to get a couple things very quickly. Vladimir Putin, remember what the Russians called the Dark Empire, or the Black, what was it Reagan called them? The Dark Empire or something like that.
Evil Empire.
Evil Empire. Yeah, and they were our enemy through the Cold War all these years, right? Putin, and I don't know how you feel about this, but Putin has, in my mind, a lot more integrity than what Trump has.
Oh, definitely.
Putin
Read the rest of them.
Oh, yes. Putin says this: globalism is the enemy of all people. Putin will put homosexuals in prison if they try to influence children. Putin also goes to the Russian Orthodox Church. He said this. I'll get to the paper turn here. Liberalism has outlived its purpose, and that multiculturalism is no longer tenable.
His mother raised him up as a Christian
Yes, she
in the
did.
church.
Now that's something to think about. We're talking about the evil empire whose leader has more
Morals.
in the Christian nation, right?
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to hurry through some of these because they're not really all that important, except this. How many of y'all grew up and remember the Beetle? Okay, well
Volkswagen, yeah.
They just made the last ones. The last one's coming out this year.
It's going to a museum.
It's coming out. It's this done. It's passing history.
Going to a museum.
And in the Week magazine, I'm going to hurry through some articles. I got some of you want to cover today. I do want to try to get down within somewhere near an hour. I'm not going to rush it. Only in America, some schools named after Confederate General Robert E. Lee are renaming themselves after worthy citizens with the same name, surnames Lee, to save money on rebranding. Robert E. Lee Elementary in Austin is now Russell Lee Elementary, honoring a Depression-era photographer. We only changed things like that had Robert E., said a school official, and that cut down on cost. Good week for beating the clock after 350 residents of the Norwegian island of Sommarøy, which has 24 hours of sunlight for several months, announced they want to create the world's first time-free zone. If you want to cut the line at 4 a.m., you can do it. So anyway, they're going to go time-free. Well, that's going to work on a job. Bad week for spectators with warnings of an imminent spike in the price of popcorn as a result of heavy spring rains in the Midwest and limited corn plantings. I'm guessing there'll be a 10-20% increase on popcorn. That's terrible.
Oh, I'm worried.
Me too. Bad week on ageism after British town issued a nuisance notice forbidding an 81-year-old woman from wearing her bikini in her yard.
No.
Because it caused alarm and distress to children at a nursery school next door. I don't know. I just work here. Anyway, a British endurance athlete has donated 3 amputated toes to a Canadian bar for use in their signature drink. Nick Griffiths lost the digits to frostbite while competing in the freezing Yukon Arctic Ultra Marathon. He was recovering in a hospital when a nurse told him about the sour toe cocktail, a toe floating in a shot of whiskey served in a downtown hotel in Yukon's Dawson City. So he donated his toes to that. And now they have a police department in Huntington Park, California, swore in a newest officer last week, a bullet-shaped bot called HP Robocop, fitted with 360-degree cameras that can feed live video to police headquarters. The robot will trundle around city parks and buildings searching for lawbreakers. Robocop has been trained to interact with members of the public and can recite simple phrases like "excuse me" and "good day to you." The bot says Chief Cosmo Lasma will fit right in with the rest of the force. So they're going to police the robots. Seriously.
And they'll probably give them protection that they give dogs. You know, dogs.
Oh, yeah, they're officers.
They're officers. So now we're going to have a cyber officer.
A 4-year-old boy from Minnesota stole his grandpa's SUV and took a joyride to the store so he could satisfy his hunger for candy. Sebastian Swinson backed the car out of the driveway in the town of Blaine and cruised 1.5 miles down a 4-lane road at 15 miles per hour during rush hour. After clipping several mailboxes in a tree, the sweet-toothed Sebastian eventually pulled into a parking lot where he was met by police. I've never seen a driver this young before operating a vehicle, said Officer Mark Borman.
How old?
4 years old.
And he did that while driving?
He did.
How did he reach the
I have no idea. Only America, organizer of the Afro Future Fest movie festival. Listen to this. Now, please pay attention. In Detroit, have grudgingly reversed their plan to charge white people twice as much as black people. If that had been reversed, they'd been held to pay for that.
Mm-hmm.
The festival had advertised an early bird POC people of color ticket for $10, while the early bird non-POC ticket was for $20.
Yep.
Boy, if that'd be another way around. My goodness. Only, by the way, they said they changed it because they're afraid of the white supremacist.
Oh, Donald Trump was accused of that being that 2 weeks ago.
Only in America, a Starbucks barista asked 5 Temple, Arizona police officers to leave the coffee shop because the customer felt unsafe. Starbucks later apologized. Anyway, they said they're carrying guns. They didn't feel safe when they were in there.
I don't feel safe in a Starbucks.
I don't either. Good week for being literal after a lone man driving a hearse in Las Vegas HOV lane told a cop who pulled him over that he thought the deceased could be counted as 2 people. The driver was let off with a warning saying living, breathing people only. Some lanes you only have to have 2 people more to get in the lane.
Oh, right.
Bad week for both sidesism when the removal of the Florida Public High School principal who wrote to a parent that it would be wrong to teach pupils about the Holocaust, but not everyone believes the Holocaust happened. So he got fired for saying that. Bad week for having your cake after a Texas woman was banned from her local Walmart because she took a cake off the shelves, ate half of it when strolling through the aisles, then demanded the cashier sell her the remaining portion for half price because half the cake was missing. The temperature in Anchorage, Alaska reached 90 degrees on July 4th, a whopping 5 degrees higher than a prior record. It's even hot in Alaska.
Wow.
Now, for them, that is hot.
That is hot. Y'all heard where Doug Ducey yanked the Arizona Nike plant in the cities that they pulled the Betsy Ross flag shoes off the shelf because it offended Ducey and I don't know, he's the one pulled off. Who did he offend? Colin Kaepernick.
Oh.
Black pitchman. Anyway, they offended him because they had the Betsy Ross flag on the shoes, so they pulled him.
Because he said it was racist.
Exactly.
The thing is, Betsy Ross was a very evil woman. She was one that she's extremely liberal.
And this I already knew, but this is important to those maybe of my age. Agent Orange was a defoliant they used in Vietnam, Thailand, and Laos, where I was stationed in all three places. And they sprayed it to kill the foliage on basis so you can see further into the jungle in case something come up. But they have finally admitted it, that it has even affects their grandchildren.
And that's taken how many years?
Oh my gosh,
40-some?
Yeah, at least. So they finally admitted it, and it's amazing to me that when I told them I was in Cam Bay, Phuket, and Thailand, they said I wasn't even in the service.
What?
They did. The records got burned up somewhere. They said. My mom, Dick knows our mom was very teased about things. She said, "You saved all your records," and I did. If I hadn't, I couldn't. I don't know how I would. I guess I had to prove it sooner or later. But they said they don't have record of being in the service. Isn't that amazing? Now, as y'all know, millions of acres this year not been planted because of floods in the Midwest, right?
Right.
So there's going said now there's signs going up already in Walmarts in Tennessee and Oregon and other places around the country that due to poor harvest we are experiencing shortage on many of our canned vegetable items.
Yeah, I seen that.
Yeah, they're running out of vegetable items. This is actually from last year's crops. This year's will be in next year's, so it'll be less next year. You know what I'm saying? Now, what if I could be part of our judgment eventually?
Well, the land will run one.
Oh yeah. And said majority of Americans want citizenship question on 2020 census. Trump will put a question on that: are you a citizen? If you're not a U.S. citizen, why should you? I mean, why will you be counted?
Yep.
Is that not fair? I mean, why should illegal be counted as part of the redistricting of a region because of they're just there?
So the Communist Democratic Party can
There
get
you
more
go.
representation.
But Pelosi said that Trump's that citizenship question on the paperwork was
Racist.
That's what she said. Trying to find to make America white again.
That's a racist statement.
Had nothing to do with race at all. It could be Hispanics or blacks. You're a citizen, marked citizen. But she said it's to make America white again.
But there's also the issue of voting.
Oh yeah, now the illegals can get driver's license without any ID at all, and they can vote then.
Yeah, you don't drive.
Right, the motor voter.
Exactly.
They have that in most states, including West Virginia.
And record 60 million Hispanics in the U.S., 52% of the population growth. 50% of our population growth is now Hispanic. The white, and people get mad at I don't care. The Caucasians are being minimized in this country.
You're getting weirded out.
They are. We were founded by Caucasian Christians. I'm not picking a fight. You can do what you want to do with it. It's a fact. And Omar, the Michigan Democrat that's come from Samoa,
Minnesota.
yeah, Minnesota. I should Minnesota. Said that Trump was a racist because he said send her back.
Not a bad idea.
No, I'm not playing that. And now they found out that the moon landing, which I know is a farce, y'all probably know it's a farce too, but the moon landing was also racist because it's all white.
Oh my God.
How many people? 3?
Yeah. And I already covered this.
By the way, you know all three astronauts, Aldrin, Armstrong, and who was the other one? Collins. I think it was Collins. All three of them were asked to swear on a Bible. They would be given $5,000 to any charity of their choice if they would swear on a Bible that they landed on the moon. Armstrong and Collins refused to answer, and Buzz Aldrin hit the guy and hit him in the jaw.
Yeah.
But it's lies upon lies upon lies. It's they're creating so much, so many levels of laminate of lies that you can't hardly figure out what the
Well,
truth
thank you, God, they had integrity and faith and didn't say
They
anything.
wouldn't compromise that much anyway.
Right,
The,
amen.
the movie makers for 007 now are wanting to cast a newest version of it,
A black woman.
a black woman.
Yeah.
50 years ago today, it's supposed to land on the moon. I was sitting in Crete, Greece, on my what they call a rack position. I worked indirectly for the CIA as a spy on communications, and I was sitting in that rack monitoring bases around the world and tracking MiGs, different things during the Vietnam War. That's where I was at whenever it landed. I remember everybody in that place switched the radios over to the hearing that the Eagles landed. Anyway, and it's getting so in Philadelphia and other places where they're trying to control the young people, and the parks where they gather to get into mischief. They're now putting up sonic devices that play high-pitched noises that we can't hear that drive the teens away.
Oh, that's interesting because when I used to teach physics, I would use a frequency generator, and I would start with real high frequencies, say maybe 40,000 hertz, which no one could hear,
Right.
and then I'd drop it down, and they had to put their hands up when they could hear it, and it was funny to watch, hands go up,
Sure.
and my hand didn't go up,
You
and I
couldn't
said,
hear it.
listen, I said, you give me a hard time, all I got to do is jack this up, and it's going to bother you, and it hurts their ears, what I mean?
Sure, doesn't bother you none.
Yeah, I guess I would have got fired now.
Well, I can remember years ago, I went with my dad up to Sutton to get a hearing aid test in a motel up there, and he couldn't hear high pitched sounds at all. I could hear him really loud, but he couldn't hear him. Now I'm noticing I don't hear him as well either.
Yeah, we're all heading that way.
You lose that.
They're doing that in Palm Beach County, Florida, playing some kind of kids music to drive all the homeless people out of this park that's by the
Really?
waterfront.
Now, moving to something else here, this is kind of, and I think much more important. For 12 years, I drove without a driver's license. Phil and Dick were part of that also.
Me too.
Because we would not volunteer a digital picture on the driver's license. It took us 12 years to get Manchin to say, all right, we're not going to do that. And we finally got it. But we knew this. We told them this, that this is going to be used on a national database, actually international. But they swore to us. In Charleston, the lawyers told us this will not leave the state. We knew better than that, but they actually thought they were telling the truth, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
FBI, ICE used driver's license photos without owner's knowledge or consent.
Mm-hmm.
Agents at the FBI and immigration offices have turned the state driver's licenses databases into a face recognition gold mine, scanning through hundreds of millions of Americans' photos without knowledge or consent. Newly released documents show thousands of face recognition requests, internal documents, and emails over the past 5 years obtained through public records requested by Georgetown University. Researchers and provided to the Washington Post reveal that federal investigators have turned State Department of Motor Vehicles to databases into the bedrock of an unprecedented surveillance infrastructure. Duh. People have long had access to fingerprints, DNA, and other biometric data taken from criminal suspects. The DMV records contain the photos of the majority of state residents, most of whom have never been charged with a crime. But now they are totally out in the open.
Well, DMR
DMV.
DMV Commissioner Joe Ciccarella, he's the one who told us that it wasn't going to go out of the state,
That's right.
and he kept to his word. And Manchin fired him, and he told me that he was fired, and I think that was part of it. Is that he wasn't going along with what the federal government wanted the state to do. So the states are simply instrumentalities of the federal government.
Of course.
That's all. They're not.
Of course.
They're not at all what they were supposed to be in the founding of the country, which was, they created the federal government. No, they're acting as if the federal government created everything. I guess they even created life.
Is that why they determine life is outside the womb and not inside the womb?
Yeah.
Now, folks, listen to this. Now, if you don't think this is the mark of the beast technology, what's that say, Joe?
U.S. fast food trusts will soon use license plates and facial recognition technology.
Drive-through restaurants, McDonald's, Wendy's, will use license plate face recognition to verify who you are. Your credit card will be verified through that, and they will be able to do the transaction with your facial scan.
Minority Report.
Isn't this amazing? We said this 20 years ago, Phil. Oh, it never happened in America.
Well, we heard about
Now,
it before.
Butch, if this is happening with
Oh,
the
yes.
if this is happening with the restaurants, what's the odds of it happening at Walmart,
Oh yeah, I
Target.
guarantee it.
your little supermarket, mini markets?
And now Instagram has an anti-bullying feature, warns users if they're about to post a mean comment. Facebook and other places are going to warn you if your comment may sound mean, don't post it. So now we have artificial intelligence monitoring us to keep us within certain guidelines. Isn't that wonderful? Don't you feel safe and protected?
Well, that's prophecy happening.
It is.
Yep.
Army goggles will feature facial recognition very soon. Army goggles. They pick you out of the crowd and take you out.
Google has those glasses that have cameras, and they actually flash on your glasses who's who as you're walking along.
That's true.
They have that already. That technology.
There's a new app out. It was on the news that night. They brought it up where you can take a picture of yourself and make yourself look like 50 years older, and you see what you look like 50 years from now.
Mm-hmm.
It comes from Russia, they said, and I'm just reading what the article said here. And I investigated a little further and found this in some detail, but it said, report, viral face app now owns rights to 150 million users' faces and names. FaceApp, it says, owned by Russian parent company Wireless Labs. FaceApp is a popular mobile app allowing users to add visual effects to photos of their faces to alter their facial expressions, look, and appearance of age. FaceApp has been downloaded by more than 100 million people via Google Play on the Android platform, over 50 million people across our other platforms, including Apple's iOS. It was launched in 2017. User grant FaceApp out license. One more time. Users grant FaceApp license to the right to their aforementioned data in perpetuity. In terms of service include the following clause. This is written in it when you sign up, but nobody reads it. You grant FaceApp a perpetual, irrevocable, non-exclusive, royalty-free, worldwide, fully paid, transferable sub-license or license to use, reproduce, modify, adapt, publish, translate, create derivative works from, distribute, publicly perform, and display your user content in any name, username or likeness provided in connection with your user content in all media formats and channels now known or later developed without compensation to you. When you post or otherwise share user content on or through our services, you understand that your user content and any associated information such as your username, location, or file or profile photo will be visible to the public.
Mm-hmm. Habits are hard to break, and now if you buy some software, you have to click that you agree to their policy. No one reads the policy.
No.
Nobody. So you're used to saying, okay, I agree, I agree, I agree, I agree. And it becomes a habit. And habits are hard to break.
And they make them
And
policies
they-
nice and long, so
Yeah,
you
they make them
so
long.
In small print.
yeah.
Yeah?
Did you understand what I just read to you? What you give up? It's the essence of who you are. Your ID. Your ID is given up for their use any way they want to use it from now on. Any kind of program they want to use.
Yeah.
Could that mean they could use your face on an ad on an on-screen ad? Of course, that's what you just did.
Sounds like ID theft, doesn't it?
It does, doesn't it? But you volunteered into it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, folks, this gets even better, and I
Worse.
yeah, well, better or worse or whatever. Elon Musk, I'm about to announce a Neuralink product that connects your brain to computers. Now, you better pay attention to this. They're working on an app right now that you can go on your cell phone without a cell phone. You're connected to it by a chip. You can see the screen of the phone inside your head on your eyeballs, and you don't need a phone in your hand. I'm dead serious about this. Elon Musk said he will soon announce a Neuralink product that can make anyone superhuman by connecting their brains to a computer. He said Neuralink increases the data rate between the brain and computers and will give humans a better shot at competing with AI. Musk made the comments before he smoked weed and drank on Joe Rogan's podcast. This is unbelievable. Patrick Stewart as Captain Jean-Luc Picard, particularly transformed into Cadissa Borgen's episode, The Best of Both Worlds, Part 2. This was broadcast back in September 23rd, 1990. Elon Musk smoked pot and drank whiskey on the Joe Rogan podcast and said he's going to soon announce a new Neuralink product that can make anyone superhuman. Now, who doesn't want to be superhuman? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I think we'll have something interesting to announce in a few months. That's better than anyone thinks is possible, the Tesla CEO said on Joe Rogan's Experience. Best case scenario, we effectively merge with AI. But this, we merge with computers. One of the last Star Trek movies that they showed on TV was a man and a computer becoming one. Do y'all remember seeing that? It was Spock said.
That was
Spock said that was the next step in evolution.
mhm.
Okay, there we go. Here it is. Musk, whose enterprises include a company called Neuralink, says his new technology will be able to seamlessly combine humans with computers, giving us a shot at becoming symbiotic with artificial intelligence. Musk argued that since we're already practically attached to our phones,
Not me.
we're already cyborgs. You know how that's almost true? I mean, I've got in public and see people just sitting around all day long on their phones.
Yeah.
Not even watching where they're going.
No.
In fact, there's a survey
They're
done.
zombies.
There's a survey
They're
that,
zombies.
there's a survey that's been done that, on average, children watch about 4 to 5 hours of television a day. That is now children watching less television, and they're on their Androids and tablets
Continuously.
more than 4 hours a day.
We're just as smart as we could be because the data link between the information we can get from our phones to our brains isn't as fast as it could be. It will enable anyone who wants to have superhuman cognition, must add anyone who wants to know the knowledge. But Rogan asked how much different these cyborg humans will be than regular humans and how radically improved they might be. Now, folks, listen to this because I'm not making this up. This is on Neuralink. Look for yourself. How much smarter are you with a phone or a computer or without? You're vastly smarter, actually, Musk said. You can answer any question pretty much instantly. You can remember it flawlessly. Your phone can remember videos and pictures perfectly. Your phone is already an extension of you. You're already a cyborg. Most people don't realize you're already a cyborg. It's just that the data rate is slow, very slow. It's like a tiny straw of information flow between your biological self and your digital self. Did you hear the wording you're using here? Biological self and digital self. We need to make the tiny straw like a giant river, a huge high bandwidth interface. Musk, who spoke about Neuralink before he smoked pot on the podcast, said that this sort of technology could eventually allow humans to create a snapshot of themselves that can live on if our bodies die. If your biological self dies, you can upload into a new unit.
Well, that's
Literally, Musk said. You know what I said? A new unit. Could that be a cyborg?
Could that be an avatar?
You never know. Musk said he thinks this will give humans a better chance against artificial intelligence. The merge scenario with AI is the one that seems like probably the best. If you can't beat it, join it, Musk said.
There's someone we know that's
Come
into,
quickly, Lord Jesus.
yes, yeah. There's someone we know who's very much into technology, and he's excited about getting his new phone, which is going to be one. Musk is putting up all these satellites where you don't have to worry about cell towers anymore. I forget how many thousand low Earth satellites, and see the difference between low Earth and what we normally think of as satellite phone conversations. We're using a computer, which is bouncing, off a satellite, is latency. Well, these satellites are so low that the latency is actually less than what it is with a cell phone. So in other words, you don't have that break between you say something and they hear it, and then they say something and you hear it, which was a problem with the earlier satellite phones. But Musk is putting up, I think it's like 10,000 satellites in low Earth orbit. And, people are going to jump on that. Wow, I can be in touch. I can't be out of touch anywhere.
Yeah.
You can't be out of touch.
What has been man's goal almost from the beginning of creation? What do you want to do?
Become God.
Live forever?
That's one thing. Sure.
Live forever? And now they said you can live forever on a different unit? You'll never die? Is that not what man wanted to be? And there's only one way to do it, we know that. But is man... the Bible says there comes a time when man won't die and can't die?
That's what I always
I was just
wondered
looking for that verse.
Yeah, Revelation. But now let this sink in a minute, folks. They took our digital pictures. It's a driver's license. You got to have them go get your picture taken. Don't think anything about it. It's just been going on since the 20s.
Mm-hmm.
We all did it, didn't we? The masses did it, and we're right into and played into the point now where you're being scanned by the feds. You're being scanned by fast foods to pay your bills, know who you are. Is that the mark of the beast technology at work or not?
Cash is dying, and when
It is
cash
dying.
is gone, there will be no anonymity, and you've got to have that for the mark of the beast.
And could it be that because you don't have that to buy or sell, that is the mark of the beast?
That's the definition.
There
That's
you
a
go.
definition of
So
it.
I'm not saying that the digital picture is the mark of the beast, but it's certainly a part of the system. Am I telling the truth?
It's
Right.
all connected together. Well,
It
then,
is.
But then again, it's just watched something just recently ago, where it was in Japan. Japan doesn't use cash. You have to use your cell phone.
That's China.
Well, it's also Japan.
Japan.
Idiot.
Yeah, and you have to scan this seal or whatever it's called, and then you make the sale through your cell phone to the customer. And a lot of these cashiers, if you went to give them cash, wouldn't know what to do with it because cash is so obsolete.
I'm not saying there's more. Well, everybody just thought it's going to be a computer chip in your hand or right hand or forehead, and that could be part of it for sure. But it's much more involved than that.
Mm-hmm.
They got to have everything about you captured.
And it's got to be worldwide.
Yes, it does. www.
Mm-hmm.
666.
Mm-hmm.
Now we all heard about Epstein, the multi-billionaire, got caught up in sexual charges.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, it turns out that the ex-prime minister of Israel was a close friend of Epstein, and they don't know whether he was involved or not. But many important people, including the Clintons, I mean, there's men, they went to the parties, and Trump did also, by the way.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying they did anything. That's not the point. I'm not saying that. But to be around a man like that, all these years, no one went on. He was in jail quite a while back for this same situation.
He was
might
found
remember that.
guilty, right.
So anyway, I don't know. But now they did catch Prince Andrew, humiliation as a sex slave files of Padil Powell to be released. Anyway, he was caught in this picture here with this 7-year-old young girl that was one of Epstein's sex slaves. That's Andrew hugging the little girl there. I don't know what that's. Okay, I forgot about the phone.
That's for you, Dutch.
Hello.
Hello, Pastor.
Hey, how you doing, Addison?
Oh, just fine. Hey, you tell Phil what a wonderful program he put on a little bit ago.
He can hear you.
Me, Cheryl and I so much appreciated it.
Thank you.
You tell him that.
Okay.
And it's nice to see all your smiling faces.
I appreciate that too. Yeah, Phil
We'll
did
catch
it.
you later.
All right, buddy. Thanks for the call.
Yeah, tell him come down to the house here. It's a lot cooler than the...
Yeah, come down and visit sometimes. That cooler than the house was in studio. He's going. Now, folks, the line is open. I forgot to mention that. The phone line is open if you want to call. 304-591-6993. 304-591-6993. How many has ever noticed that political correctness is getting a little bit out of hand?
Mm-hmm.
It's a religion, Butch.
It is a religion.
If you think about it, it is a religion.
It is. Gendered language like manhole will be soon banned from Berkeley City's codes.
What are they going to call
My
it?
golly.
I'll tell you in a minute. Get there. Soon there will be no more manholes in the city of Berkeley, California.
Maintenance hole.
There will be also no chairman, no manpower, no policemen or policewomen. No, that doesn't mean the whole city will be without committee leaders and law enforcement. It means that these words, the words that imply gender reference, will be removed from the city's codes and replaced with gender-neutral terms according to a recently adopted ordinance. The city voted Tuesday night to replace gender terms in its municipal codes like manhole and manpower with gender-neutral ones like maintenance hole and human effort.
Makes no sense.
No, it doesn't. That had been passed without discussion or comments. It was not controversial. That's the sad part. Said Berkeley City Council member Rajel Robinson, the bill's primary author. There's power in language, Robinson said, that this is a small move, but it matters. The revised city documents will also replace instances of gendered pronouns such as he and she with they, according to the ordinance. Berkeley's municipal code currently contains most masculine pronouns, The office of the city manager said in a letter to a mayor of the city council, having a male-centric municipal code is inaccurate and not effective of our reality. Women and non-binary individuals are just as entitled to accurate representation. Our laws are for everyone, and our municipal code should reflect that.
Laws are for everyone. Where do you draw the line on that? I mean, we're human resources. Human resources. Can you believe that? Like coal and lumber and.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Oh, and
Timber.
I forgot to mention also in Matthew 24 it talks about earthquakes in diverse places. Last 7 days, there were 677 earthquakes worldwide. Almost 100 a day. Over three times normal. Female athlete alleges retaliation by coach over complaints about transgender policy. A young girl complained because boys are winning, and they kicked her off team.
Kicked her off team now.
my God.
Yep. They say they are often winning, and the girls are afraid to publicly object for fear of retaliation, according to Selena Soul, one of the female competitors. That's why Soul and two of her unnamed female peers are asking the U.S. Department of Education to investigate CIEC for Title IX violations. The decision to let biological males compete has deprived many girls of opportunities to achieve public recognition, a sense of reward for hard work, opportunities to participate in high-level competition, and the visibility necessary to attract the attention of college recruiters and resulting scholarships.
Does that have to be doing with transgenderism?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
The moral of the story is this, that parents can no longer trust Disney. They never could trust Disney.
No.
How many of y'all know that he was a cocaine addict and a pedophile? That's true. Check it out. Movies can do have tremendous influence in shaping young lives in the realm of entertainment towards the ideals and objectives of normal adulthood. Walt Disney said that. Now listen to this. Now things have changed. You may not be aware of it. Back in 2014, Disney's movie Frozen became the highest-grossing animated movie in the history, and so there are some big expectations for the sequel, Frozen 2, which is coming out, in quotations, later this year. Yes, that is correct. The star of Frozen, Elsa, is by all counts a lesbian. And the big question everyone is asking about the sequel is whether or not Elsa will come out of the closet, with the subplot being whether or not she was born this way. Spoiler alert, in the end, the prince is really a bad guy like all men, and the lesbian was born that way. And it's rated G.
Just like the Muppets.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And we're going to show this in a minute. I'm not going to get into it right now. This is a picture of a man. You'll see the man on video. An actual demonic spirit coming out of him, a transgender man. If you'll get a copy, you'll see in a minute.
In the library.
In a library. Ground with a superhuman voice. Am I telling the truth? And the people were applauding.
Was he also reading Bibles? Also reading little children's stories?
He's reading to little children, yes.
It's another drag queen library reading program.
As a matter of fact, I'll share in a minute, but one of the most famous food suppliers is now promoting this.
Yes.
APA, we like to teach the road to swing. Just when you think you've heard it all, the American Psychological Association decides this monogamy is the new bigotry. That's right. According to supposed mental health experts, open marriages are the tolerant approach to intimacy, and they've launched a task force to prove it to the world. Now, folks, that's how they started out with homosexuality, and it's been accepted 100% now. I mean, not 100% by everybody, but as the masses, I mean, everybody's, it's all normal, right?
So they're talking plural marriage here.
Sure. According to APA's official description of this initiative, finding love and or sexual intimacy is a central part of most people's life experience. However, the ability to engage in desired intimacy without social medical stigmatization is not a liberty for all. People who practice consensual non-monogamy, as they call it, are unduly marginalized, and it's time, the AP argues, to promote awareness and inclusivity for people who practice polygamy, or polyamory, or open relationships, swinging, relationship anarchy, and other types of ethical non-monogamous relationships. Notice the word ethical non-monogamous. That's an oxymoron. Well, the APA may call these open relations ethical, but the American people sure don't. Anyway, the people don't like it yet, but they didn't like homosexuality 40 years ago either.
No.
Anybody see where this is leading?
Mm-hmm.
LBGT is swiftly being normalized. Pedophilia is next. It's next. Disney World janitor, 66, tells police it is his constitutional right to watch child pornography. Constitutional right, that's key. When we're told the Constitution cannot govern immoral people, they can use the Constitution to make rights out of anything, can't they? How about murdering children? How about perverts getting married? The Constitution said it protects their right. Is that what they're saying? Now, Paul G. Curley, 66, was arrested on Wednesday in Osceola, Florida, for having child pornography, but he said it's his right to have it under the Constitution.
Yeah.
But don't worry about it, it's okay. Official Lutheran Church is really a coven of witches. Practice goddess worship, shamanic generating crystals, and a sacred dance to Ishtar. This is a picture of the ladies worshiping in the church.
Mm-hmm.
Lutherans used to be pretty fundamentalist, didn't
They were.
They were very extremely conservative. The Missouri St. Lutheran, the old German Lutheran,
Mm-hmm.
that's what I grew up in. And I mean, they were probably the most conservative of all the Lutheran bodies there were.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're just as bad as the rest.
Mm.
Canadian Prime Minister says Christians are the worst part of society. It's coming, folks. It's coming. I'm telling you right now. It's coming. It's coming. For being a Christian and standing on the principles and convictions of the Christ, you will be punished. It's coming to America. It's already started. But Trudeau said, according to a clause introduced by Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, pro-life Christians are barred from federal funding unless they support a woman's right to abortion. I have met with Justin Trudeau 3 times, said Pastor Steve Long, a Canadian Baptist minister. Stating my last meeting with him in his office was very disappointing. He told me that evangelical Christians were the worst part of Canadian society. Trudeau's enmity toward Christians is not solely against evangelicals. Canada under Trudeau has also become a very unwelcome place for Christians who flee from persecution in the Middle East. So, Trudeau, the head of Canada, a large nation, folks, right north of us, says Christians are the problem. Any comments? I'm going to do as quick as I can because I want to get into that quick. How much time we got, Bill? Can Steve play? We've got about 10 minutes.
In North Korea, that if you're a Christian, you sign your own death sentence.
Oh, yeah. Whole Foods sponsors drag queen story, hired to indoctrinate children with perversion, pedophilia, and transgenderism. Whole Foods.
Certainly isn't wholesome food.
No, it's not. The sick, twisted agenda of the deranged left has come to full circle to today as Whole Foods is now sponsoring a drag queen story hour event to indoctrinate children into pedophilia, transgenderism, and perversion. A retailer that once promoted organics and clean food is now saturated in absolute filth, exploiting America's children to be groomed for the pedophiles and perverts that are repeatedly linked to drag queen events in multiple cities across America.
It's just like AFA has been boycotting Target, and they're still not, money doesn't mean anything to them when they're pushing this agenda.
I'd get some kind of a bit frustrated with the fact that this is not being shown in every church.
Everyone should know where to shop and where not to shop.
Everyone should know what's going on so they can stand against it. Protect their family from it. Demonic Christian and Jewish clergy bless abortion clinic in the name of God. This Life News reports on July 9, 2019, killing unborn babies sacred work. A group of 10 Christian, Presbyterian, Episcopalian, Unitarian, Universalist, United Church of Christ, Disciples of Christ, and Jewish Reform and Reconstructionist clergy gathered to bless an Austin, Texas abortion clinic, the Whole Woman's Health, an abortion chain known for numerous health and safety violations. There they are together praying to bless the murder clinic.
It's a new religion.
Sure it is. God, people, if you're part of that and you support it, you're part of the scene, you're partakers of it. The Christian flag was banned in Boston. They could hang up all other flags, countries' flags, the rainbow flag. 284 flags could fly over Boston, but the Christian flag is not one of them.
My.
They're taking them to court for
They're
that.
taking the court for that. Is this? Can you see this? Can you see that? Can you see the time coming when you'll be going to jail for being a Christian?
Yep.
Is there enough evidence in your life to convict you?
Oh, yes.
We hope so.
I'm hurrying through this because I want to get that clear. Texas court orders father to raise his son as a transsexual. Texas, not New York, Texas. Jeff Younger, who is locked in a court battle with his ex-wife over whether their son should undergo transition to a girl, says the court order bans him from discussing things like religion or the need to be respectful to girls.
Now, isn't it telling us that again a Christian faith cannot be practiced?
Absolutely. Jeff and his former spouse, Ann Gurgulis, are trying to resolve a parental dispute over their son, James. Ann insists that James identifies a girl, calls him Luna, and envisions hormone therapy and eventually sex change surgery in the future. Jeff rejects the idea and says his son is perfectly comfortable being a boy in his presence. The pair are fighting legal battle, with the court temporarily ordering Jeff not to impose a male identity on the child. California lawmakers trying to force pastors to embrace pro-LGBT ideology. California's passing a law to make you, as a pastor, unless you want to go to jail, not to counsel a homosexual or transgender, whatever you want to call them, against their lifestyle.
Well, if you've formed a partnership with the government called a corporation,
That's right.
then
You
you have an agreement.
You better get out of that
Corporation is your
agreement.
God.
The California Family Council reports that Assembly Concurrent Resolution 99 calls on counselors, pastors, religious workers, educators, and institutions with great moral influence to stop perpetuating the idea that something is wrong with LGBT identities or sexual behavior. ACR 99 also condemns attempts to change unwanted same-sex attractions or gender confusion as unethical, harmful, and leading to high rates of suicide.
Mm-hmm.
Can you see what Phil said and what they would try to do working? Can you see it? It's a cancer started and no one bought. They'll knock it off again. I'm sorry, Joe. Things have gotten so bad in Congress that a priest prayed to cast out all the spirits of darkness off the House floor. Good for him. But a priest prayed. The chaplain of the House of Representatives prayed to remove darker spirits from the chamber on Thursday after a contentious week in Washington. Reverend Patrick Convoy, Jesuit priest, used the House prayer to cast out the spirit of petty divisiveness. And this guy, Jesuit, is not a Christian, believe me.
No, he didn't mention nothing about Christ in the
No.
verse.
No. Again, here's that about the earthquakes. This is part of a judgment. 677 earthquakes in the last 7 days. That's Matthew 24:7. And if you read Deuteronomy 28, 60, 61, and also 28, 52 through 54, I'm not going to read it all, I don't have time, but we're being invaded by many strange diseases all of a sudden. Bacterial invasion. People all these coasts are being attacked by flesh-eating disease. We're getting out of the ocean in Florida, out of the river in Tennessee. It will kill you. Once you get it, you're dead. They can't stop it. Now, if I read Deuteronomy 28, 6, 61, we're warned that He will put the diseases on us of the world if we disobey Him. And He said in 58 to 54 that He'll give us diseases that weren't even thought of then in the world.
Be killed by the beasts of the field.
Think about this, people. God's not mocked.
Yeah.
Whatever you sow, you're going to reap.
And also to that, like in Deuteronomy chapter 26, he says, if you do not repent, I will increase these by sevenfold.
That's right. Now we're going to show a quick clip. And by the way, we're back here in Louisville on the first Saturday of August, which is the 3rd of August. If everything works out, we're going to have a speaker by the name of Jonathan Alexander of Liberty Council. Will be here both hours. A young black man, his wife's coming down at their own expense to speak to us and share what they're doing with Liberty Council. I hope you'll tell your friends about it. I hope we can have a big turnout online. I know that nobody's going to come here, but you can if you want. And listen to what Jonathan has to say about what battles we're facing, what Christians are facing in the land of the free, in the home of the brave, because of the Christian convictions. Now I want you to watch this clip. Now pay attention. We'll show this. I want to make a couple of comments or shut up. But watch this short clip of this demonically possessed man being applauded for what he's doing.
You know, that's a public library,
Yes, it is.
and that is they're cheering it
That is
on.
not your natural voice. That was not natural voice. You can tell that, right?
Yep.
I totally wasn't.
And the people are applauding
It was awake
and
from what he
laughing.
is. You know, awake from what he is.
Oh my God in heaven, people were in a mess.
Yes.
I'm not worried about me and you. I'm worried about my grandchildren. As time goes on, their children. What are they going to face? We have opened Pandora's box to all manner of evil. Read Revelation 18, you read about America. We've opened ourselves to every evil spirit there is. We open the cages up and release it on the world. And we're going to sit around and wait for the rapture.
The founders talked about life, liberty, and
Pursuit of happiness.
pursuit of happiness, and their posterity. They did a lot of those things not for them. A lot of them lost everything
Sure.
to do that, but they did it for their posterity, and that's the big question, you know.
I want you to keep this in mind. We're going to close. But when you go to church next time, and you go into church and you go through your normal functions in the church, you can call it what you want to, tradition, whatever, you get in and sing a song. Nothing wrong with that. I love a good song. I love having a good shout. I love worship. But when you don't expose evil, you're not doing God's will. That's what we're reading in Ephesians. We're here to expose evil. Is that Bible or not?
Mm-hmm.
And we're here to expose it, stand against it, and die trying if necessary to get the truth out to the people. But I promise you that 99% of the churches will never mention this behind the pulpits.
Never.
It will scare people to death and they will lose the congregation. I love you, and the Lord will. Back on the 3rd with our guest Jonathan Alexander, hopefully, and we'll go from there. Have a good one.